All right. This is Deep Wisdom Stories, and we're here again with another take.
Boss, you see my life right now? Equal to nothing. You won't understand the kind of financial pressure when I dey under.
I think, as you know, this channel is going to be talking about things that relate to the society and how we can ask pertinent questions as it relates to reality. I just finished watching To Kill a Monkey right now. And first of all, I want to applaud the directors, the producers. I want to applaud you guys. Kemi Adetiba, well done. I'm not going to talk about the limitations, the budget. I mean, it looked like the limitations on the budget were evident, but I think they were able to deliver. Now, personally, I don't care about all that because, quite frankly, I care about the stories, the lesson you can learn. I understand that this is a fictional story, and so it begs the question, is this reality or fictional? Is there actually a lesson that could be learned? The first question I have, of course, is because this is a very entertaining movie. It's very good, especially understanding the level of budget they probably had, because you can just see things and say, okay, this is what they had to work with. But all the actors performed flawlessly, and I have a few questions though. But I was just watching the movie and thinking, right, thus Ife's beginning, because Ife, if you understand the movie, you've watched the movie, you understand that Ife is this struggling guy, just he can't seem to get a break, he's always trying his best to. He had the software was building to cybersecurity software to curb the scammers from actually invading, getting people's details and actually taking advantage of people that were not looking. And so he had a software to curb that. However, because he fell on hard times, he met Obos, who was like his younger brother who had done something for. I don't want to spoil the movie if you've not seen it. And then who's helped, he actually saved Obos's life. And so Obos tried to help him and all that. And Obos was a Yahoo boy, into a lot of bad things, obviously. And so Obos said, he long story short, he was like, you help Obos. And if you've not watched it, go and see the movie, all right? Now, the question I have is this: does Ife's beginning actually reflect the current Nigerian youth situation that's trying to go legal, that's not doing fraud, and maybe you didn't graduate from this Ivy League university? Even if you did, like, does it really translate to the actual situation of the Nigerian youth? Like, there are no opportunities whatsoever. That is the question we should ask. And so why is that situation like that, if it is true? Now, you can say, oh well, for theater they had to exaggerate some parts, but I think most of us know people physically that just cannot get a break. They're honest people. Well, nobody's a saint, obviously, but they're trying their honest best. And there's something I noticed with the Nigerian, and I have to say this, right? Why is it that most people that are working now, legitimate jobs, I will say 90% of employees have to use a beg? Why do you have to beg? So that you can balance up with your bills. That is a very big problem. Why do you have to take loans? Take loans from your boss, borrow from your friends that don't have, sometimes they eventually become thieves. And this brings us to the villain arc of what does a man have to go through before he eventually breaks?
Just like me, you self not criminal.
Just keep breathing.
I said there's only a man that has not gone through war that will say life is easy. When you go through war, that's when you can call yourself a man, apparently. And so if you've not seen the battle, you are ready for war. I think that's what the proverb says, isn't it? And so Ife, going through all these things, trying to provide for his family, to provide for his wife, what could he have done? Okay, He tried everything, and if he was like a 47, probably late 40s, so he's not really getting younger. According to the movie, he's been trying since he was a young boy, and he's tried up to that age. So, like, if he did not do that fraud, what were the other options? I mean, he had his software, and he had an opportunity, and so you can say if he kept on trying, maybe, but he sent 215 emails, and you could also argue that okay, maybe he could have tried sending to foreign companies. I'm looking deeper into the Ife story and how can that story become a success. But the foreign companies will not listen to him because he's Nigerian, and Ife eventually became the person that would actually stop other people from actually getting the opportunities because he has tainted a bad image about Nigerians. And so I think, and these things are, although it's a fictional story, we actually have to think about it and how it reflects with real life.
Just like me.
Was there really no hope for Ife? I think that's the question we should ask. That's a very deep question. Let's ask that question. If you have an answer in that question, leave it in the comment section. Let me say this. Please like and subscribe to Deep Money Tricks, okay? And Deep Wisdom Stories. That's the other channel, Deep Money Tricks. But Deep Wisdom Stories, like and subscribe. Alright. And so was there really no hope for Ife? Now, another thing that worried me about the movie was I don't think, and maybe you can correct me, I don't think there was any successful legit story that was highlighted in the movie. Now, of course, that wasn't the focal point of the movie, and so it's like we're focusing on this guy that is having hard luck, that is having a hard time, and nothing seems to work. He really cannot get a break. But is there successful? There was no successful story that was highlighted, and then the character. Now, people are shaped in different mindsets and different thoughts and different, so the question I have is this: was his wife, the characters that we have, was his wife really a good wife? I mean, she was content with, she seemed like a very good wife when they were poor, and she was content, she was working hard, and like, what changed? How did she get from a person that was angry that they were poor, but she wasn't angry actually, she was sad that they were poor, but she was diligent. She would try to get work, even though she just had a baby through CS and she needed rest. She was trying everything to support her husband in providing for the family. So, how did she get to the person that became spoiled and lacked accountability? Where did it go wrong? Because it's not like she was not aware that they were doing fraud, they were doing crimes. She was aware. She knew her husband told her they would do this deal and stop quickly, of course, but she started enjoying the life. And you need to understand there's a point, and I think that's the problem with that's my major problem with every Yahoo boy, right? Personally, I would say Yahoo is wrong. Right? Say no to fraud. If you're listening to me and you're doing fraud, stop. Just stop immediately. Stop. Say no to fraud. You say, oh, you're not killing anybody. Do you know the amount of people that have committed suicide because of the money you've taken? You wouldn't know. You just collect your money and go and buy Benz. You know how many families have been lost, have been ravaged, have been torn apart. I've seen some of these people real life. Real life. That's because you don't know. You're living in Nigeria. If you've been exposed to another side of the world and you meet the people that your brothers are scamming, you have to feel for. These are real human beings, all right? And they shared the Nigerian story in a very hard way. The only way for Nigerians, personally, the way I think the only way is now, anyway, for the world now, is to get profit from the global economy. And if we shut ourselves out because of our bad image and our short-sightedness, because we are only looking at our pocket, we are not looking at our children. If we spoil it now, then what will your children eat? When AI is moving and they're looking for developers that can code quickly, that will not be as expensive as American developers, your children will be able to do it. But I mean, you have blacklisted your country, so why not? No, nothing. We'll just scam ourselves to death. But anyway, the question I have is: was there really no hope for Ife? Why was no successful, legitimate story highlighted? Was his wife really a good wife? Why did she change? Then did Ife really deserve the treatment he was met with? Like, seriously? I mean, why was everyone attacking him like he was a bad person? I mean, we're all doing fraud. Kind of the fraud, this new level of fraud. Obos did not need him at the time, but once they started printing money, then Oboz needed him. But it's not like anything would change from Oboz's lifestyle. As we could see, he was always wealthy, but he became 10 times wealthier or 50 times wealthier, as if he said. Regardless, why did his wife hate him eventually? Why did she start to resent him? What? And if you noticed, even from the beginning of the baby in the freezer, she started to resent him from there. Why? How could he have known? Right? How could he have known? That should be the problem, because he was there and he went out and the baby was in the freezer during the birthday party and all that, and she started like, I don't want to talk to you. Why? Why? What's the meaning of that? Like that was the beginning of when I said there's something wrong somewhere, and that was the beginning. And then she started drinking, so there was no accountability from her. Where did it all go wrong? And how is Ife different from a boss? Because if you look at a boss, there's nobody blaming a boss that he's a bad person. I mean, everyone knows he's a criminal, and he's actually dwelled and championed in that criminal enterprise, and everybody's happy with him. But if it's this guy that everybody's just blaming, you are bad, you are bad, you are bad, and he's like, I only want a better life for you people. It will be easier for Ife. Would it really have been easier for Ife? At the time, he was looking for money to protect his family, to just walk away, just run away from his family. I'm not saying you should do that, but let's talk about the hard truths now. Looking at how this story ended up, do you think it would have been better for the family for if they should just walk away and everybody just find their way? Because at the end of the day, the way, even though it was wrong through unscrupulous means, the way he found his way was actually caused pain in the end. His daughter was angry at him. His wife was angry at him. I mean, those are the two major people that were in his life anyway. And so, for example, his daughter. Now, I think his daughter was being stupid. I feel like when you train your children, but then again, you have to factor the fact that if he really didn't train the girl, and so she has been with uncles, and I think this is a serious Nigeria. I think that's part of the story was brushed over. Do you know the amount of women that have been molested by family members or uncles or guardians, and like it is the amount of women that have told me I lived with this person that my family told me to live with, and the man of the house was touching me. I'm not even going to talk about that, but it is crazy. And sometimes, as a man, that is a very, very, very scary reality to understand that your daughter will be under the care of another man, and anything can happen. And sometimes the only option to that is please make money, just make money. And if he just went to go and make money, maybe he made it too late. Maybe he made it too late, because she was already, it seemed like from the story, I would say Evie, his daughter, was already a broken person by the time she got back to Ife. And she was so broken to the fact that she could fall into the hands of someone like Oboz. Now, someone that was, and maybe Oboz is a playboy that just understands. But I mean, if you have character and dignity, you should know that this is your daddy's friend. He's a daddy's business. But this is like no-go area. Don't touch it. Don't stop being a little prostitute. I mean, stop. Look for a guy your age. Where did he spoil that you are looking at a married man that is your father's friend, that is a married man with children, that is your father's friend, your father's business partner, that you chose to have a relationship with him and get pregnant? That is I think I'll blame his daughter for that. And I think if he did the best thing he should do by telling her to stop the relationship. Now, did he care about her feelings because she was already pregnant? That's a conversation. He should have. Should he have? Should he have not? I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, then again, why is she trying to marry her boss? Her boss has his wife. The third thing is, I think her boss's wife was a G. Yeah, I think her boss's wife was a G. How did she loved her husband, and she understood the assignment. She didn't complain. She knew he was cheating. She understood the lifestyle, and she just took it like that. So how was she? And you know what? Understanding how her bosses died, she didn't love him for money. She actually loved him for him because he died and she wanted his revenge, like you could know. So how is her boss's wife different from if his wife? And what did Obos do that is, because I think Obos committed more crimes than Ife. Personally, I think Obos committed more crimes than Ife. But in fact, Obos is like probably the biggest problem out of everything. But I think Obos's way was the best. Now, how was his wife? How was Obos's wife more welcoming to the idea of the imminent threat to their family? And she wasn't blaming Obos for the problems that if his wife was blaming her husband. That's Nosa, excuse me. Her name is Nosa, right? So why was she not blaming? So Nosa will blame Ife for the same problems that Obos's family is going through. And Obos's wife is just calming him down and just calming him down. And everybody left him and she was still calming him down. And if he just needed that comfort from somebody somewhere and he ran to the arms of this useless mistress, well, that one is the whole setup, it looked unbelievable actually. But then again, it's a movie, so fine. We can actually roll with that. I'm not going to talk about that because that's just not the part. And so let's just talk about that. If you have anything to say in the comment section, if you can answer all these questions, because I think it reflects. I heard somewhere that the movie they make about your society that is critically acclaimed to be a very good movie reflects the society. I don't know if that's true, but of course this is a fictional movie, and so what can we really draw from this? Number one, say no to fraud. Don't do anything fraudulent to make your money. But even if you are doing something legitimate, how do you relate with people? Who do you trust? The issue of trust in business. Does this person really love you because he's making money for you, or does he love you because of what he can collect from you? And when he collects this thing, he's done, basically. I think if he was a fool at the end to betray a boss, but that's my personal opinion. Apparently, some people are saying, no, he slept with his daughter, blah 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 blah. That's true. Obos slept with his daughter. You see, but you know what you're getting when you're getting in bed with the devil. You shouldn't have let Obos come too close to your family like that, like that. But it is what it is. I mean, it has happened. It has happened. I'm not saying Obos is a saint as well, but that the punishment for sleeping with his daughter should not be death. He didn't need to die. I don't think so. Anyway, let me know in the comment section. And you can, if you have stories that relate to real life situations like this, and if there's a lesson to be learned, you can share in the comment section as well. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. And like and subscribe. Thank you.